This video is brought to you by the Deck of Many and their Big Bad Booklet series. It's also brought to you by the Roll for Combat Actual Play podcast and their new Agents of Edgewatch adventure. Hello and welcome back to the Gallant Goblin. Today we have the second Paint Night kit from WizKids, the Ogre Zombie. The Paint Night events are run through your local game stores, and each one may be doing things a little bit differently depending on the situation in your neck of the woods. You can check out the link in the video description down below to find a store, hopefully near you, participating in the event. The kit contains everything you need to paint your Ogre Zombie, including brushes, paints from Vallejo, a palette, the mini, of course, and a tutorial video by Realmsmith. So for this video, I'll show you what's included, and I'll show you how I did my paint job. If you participate in any of the Paint Night events, take a pic with your finished Manticore or Ogre Zombie and tag me on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and we'll share your creations with our audience. So without further ado, let's open this up and take a closer look. Here, let's take a look at our Ogre Zombie figure before I slather a bunch of paint all over him. Try to imagine how you would paint him here before you see my results. Ogre Zombies are CR2 creatures who make for a good challenge for a low-level party. They can deal out a fair bit of damage, but they're big, slow targets, so they're easy to hit. They also have those undead traits, meaning that they're immune to poison, and they have undead fortitude, so the final blow against them must be massive, or of the radiant variety, or they'll keep coming at you like an unrelenting monster in a horror movie. Ogre Zombies appear in more adventures than I realized. You can find them in Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden, Dungeon of the Mad Maid, Sleeping Dragon's Wake, Acquisitions Incorporated, Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and the Guild Master's Guide to Ravnica. Their stat block can be found in the basic rules. Here's what you get in the Paint Night kit. The materials are the same as the Manticore Paint Night kit from last month, though of course the paints themselves are different. You'll only use a small portion of the paint provided, so you can save the rest for your other unpainted minis. You also get a general purpose paintbrush and a smaller brush for those fine details. And you get a little cup with a lid to keep a bit of water handy if you need to thin out your paints. You can also use the included plastic insert to mix or thin your paints. Now, the main difference between this set and the last one is the upgraded painting tutorial video. This time, our friend and WizKids' own V Muse produced the painting video, and I have to say it's much clearer and more informative than the one from last month. She really goes through the process of painting with you, explaining the various techniques such as dry brushing, thinning paints, applying washes, and using inks to define a space. And these are techniques that you can apply to all your future mini painting activities. She gives you a full 360-degree look at the mini after each step to make sure you're keeping up, which is invaluable and what was missing from the last video. Man, though, she gets such smooth results on her mini that I still can't match. V frequently has painting tutorials on WizKids' YouTube channel and Twitch channels, which you should definitely check out. A few tips I can offer you, most of which are self-explanatory. Make sure you have a setup with an ample amount of light. It's very easy to miss little spots in the mini if you don't have a bright light to check out those crevices. I like having an adjustable desk lamp that I can reposition as needed. V also recommends having a little device to hold the mini as you paint. I realized that my mini holder was designed for medium-sized minis with bases, so it wasn't really helpful for this figure. You may want to do some shopping around online for a good holder, but you can even use a water bottle with a little bit of tack in a pinch. Honestly, if you're a game master, you always need to have a bit of tack handy. It's so useful in so many circumstances. Finally, and I learned this from personal experience, don't paint while listening to something funny, like, say, the Roll for Combat podcast. Turns out it's hard to paint those fine details when you're chuckling and spitting juice out of your nose. But here are my final results. It took me probably about 2 hours of on-again and off-again work to fully paint him, but I'm slow and easily distracted. I think he turned out just fine though. She does recommend using some sealer when you're finished to keep the paint job safe. We saw some of that in our comments last time too, another recommendation from you all, and that's a very good suggestion. The kit doesn't come with any, but it's something you can pick up online or at most any hobby shop. So let me know what you think of this set and my paint job in the comment section down below. I always like to remind you that I'm a super amateur painter, so if I can do it, you can do it. And if you're wanting to break into the mini painting hobby, this is a great way to get started. You get paints and brushes and a great tutorial that'll show you all the techniques you need to paint a great mini. Then you can go watch some of our unpainted mini reviews to see which ones you want to pick up next to practice with. Soon we'll have our review of the most recent big unpainted minis that we got from WizKids. The Nolzurs and Deep Cuts lines are great ways to get relatively inexpensive but great and unique minis and scatter terrain for your games. Check out the link in the video description down below to see which local game stores in your area are doing the paint night events. The event should be running from late October into November of 2020. Prices may vary, but it seems to cost around $20. Oh, and I have noticed that the last paint night kit for the Manticore has shown up on some of the online retail outlets like Amazon. So if you don't have access to a participating game store in your area, you can still join in the fun, though it may take some time for the kits to trickle into those online retailers on their web stores. And if you'd like to pick up just the Ogre Zombie, the unpainted mini, you can pick him up at retail for an MSRP of about $8.99, and you'll be seeing him again soon. Many thanks to WizKids for sending us this paint night kit to review, and I want to thank our sponsors for this video. First, we have the Roll for Combat Actual Play podcast. Not only do they have a hysterical paint-ruining podcast that you can listen to around your house or during your commute, but they also host an extremely active Discord channel. If you've ever wanted to try your hand at Pathfinder or Starfinder and you don't know where to find a group, this is a fantastic resource for you. They have a great welcoming community who can guide you to a group so you can try your hand at it. You can also talk about your favorite Roll for Combat adventures, like their new Agents of Edgewatch show, or some of their other shows like the Three Ring Adventure, Dead Sons, The Fall of Plaguestone, and many more. To learn more, go check out rollforcombat.com. I plan to hang out in their general Discord channel for the next few days, so come there and chat with me and make some new gaming friends. Next, we have the Deck of Many and their Big Bad Booklet series. We've been chatting about Heckna for the past month or so you may not have heard about some of their more recent Big Bad Booklets, which are their monthly zines about boss monsters for 5th edition D&D. The booklets contain everything you need to run a one-shot or mini campaign centered on a particular Big Bad. This month, come meet Gix, a giant vulture with a habit of collecting the bones of legendary adventurers. Will your skeleton end up in his sprawling ossuary? Subscribe today at bigbadbooklet.com. And thank you for watching today. If you enjoyed the video, you can click the little thumbs up button down there so it's recommended to more people. Leave me a comment letting me know what you think of my little ogre zombie paint job, but please be gentle. Come and join me over at the Roll for Combat Discord channel, or join us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram for all the latest news that's fit to print. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything on our channel, and click that little bell icon if you'd like to get a little notification when we release a new video. Otherwise, I hope you're doing well out there, and I'll see you next time at the Gallant Goblin.